I see some familiar faces. I will be showing some similar content here today, so forgive me if it's too repetitive. It's less than 24 hours since that passed. Thank you. So yesterday, we had a guest from Amazon who told us a very interesting story about Jeff Bezos. And everybody seemed to interview him and ask him this question. Enna marum, what's going to change? What's going to change? Tell us so that we can adapt to it, so that we can get ready for it. And he has gone on record and said, stop obsessing about what's going to change. Instead, look at what's not going to change. What are the things in this whole world where everything is constantly in churn? What are the things that won't change? In the context of Amazon, he is supposed to have said three things. Customers will always need lower cost products, customers will always need great variety to choose from, and customers will always need faster delivery, right? So I will come back to this at the end of my allotted time, and I'll tell you probably what won't change in academia, and probably that is something you can obsess about and probably hone and make better. Most of the time, I see schools and colleges focusing on delivering this as their stated goal. Information. Lots of things the kid doesn't know. Lots of things I know. Here, take this. Here, take that. Bits of information, mostly unconnected, mostly contextless, dumped. And then, end of the year, evaluated on how well you remember them. On the other hand, what I would like all of us to take on ourselves as a challenge is, can we convert this and shift it into that? Can we convey our experience? Each of us in this room has had a stellar, probably adventurous, lots of twists and turns, entertaining, probably even enthralling experience. Can we share that? Can we connect the dots for them? This is my life. This is how I have lived it. Like Gandhiji said, that is my message. Don't listen for any messages from me. My life is my message. Learn from that. Learn from the mistakes I made. Learn from the correct things I made. Adapt it to your new era. So that is experience. Don't stop there. Because most of the times, experience is probably just a collection of wrong things you did. So look at the non-contextual or probably unusual, interesting connections between dots. It need not always be straight lines like this one. Look for unusual connections. And a little more unusual connection brings you creativity. It's not easy to teach creativity, but it's always possible to foster creativity. One of my favorite examples of fostering creativity is a chemistry lab in a school or a college versus a maker lab or a tinkering lab. In the chemistry lab, you're given an objective to prove, to derive, to create, to perform. And then there is a process, and then there is only one correct answer. Pacha colorla or poga varno, vandada illaya. Everything else is the wrong answer. Compare that with a tinkering lab or a maker lab, where you're given the raw materials, the Lego blocks, so to speak. Wear your spectacles, probably the helmet, have fun for the next 1 hour, show me what you can imagine and create. Infinite correct answers. That is the way to foster creativity. And very often, particularly in this world of big data, very, very often we will realize that we have taken on more than we can chew. Too much information. They used to say about Boris Becker versus Ivan Lendl. Number வயசுல இருக்கிற டென்னிஸ் பிளேயர்ஸ் அந்த மாதிரி தான் ரெஃபர் பண்ணோம். Boris Becker won Wimbledon so many times, didn't win anywhere else. I want Lendl won everywhere else except Wimbledon. And they used to say, why? How? And Ivan Lendl once said, grass is so fast. I have so many techniques for so many surfaces, and my mind wastes time deciding what shot to play. This guy there knows only one shot, does it well. He doesn't think. Right? So reduce your options. Probably that is the essence of wisdom. Finally identifying what is probably not relevant anymore to remember. Right? So that's the progression from experience to knowledge to creativity to wisdom. And finally, that's the challenge the computers, the robots, the artificially intelligent algorithms have thrown at us. They are challenging us. I am going to take your job. As I was coming today, I saw 3 vehicles, orange t-shirts, black t-shirts, Uber Eats, Swiggy. I was looking at that guy. How many years before it's drone delivered? How many years before a robot takes its job? Or a 3D printing food machine takes that job? So, in fact, there is even a website that says, will a robot take my job.com. If you go and type your psychologist or a placement officer or an engineer or a chef, it will tell you a percentage, 47%, 12%. I mean, how easy it is to be replaced by a computer. The one skill humans have that's going to take at least a decade or more before singularity hits us is intuition. With the given data, making a leap of faith, taking a step out of the box. How are you going to encourage intuition? Because these will create the leaders of tomorrow, the decision makers of tomorrow. And that is the challenge, that is the responsibility the country has put on all of us. So that's the progression I wanted to refer to. I'm reading a book. It's called The Case Against Education: Why the Education System is a Waste of Time and Money by Brian Kaplan. He's an economics professor in George Mason University, and this is from the Princeton University Press. So it's a real pedagogically safe and solid document. And in this book, I'm still not done with it. I'm really enjoying it so much. I'm reading it on my Kindle, and it's all yellow because every page, every paragraph has something interesting. I'm highlighting it. So interesting. I strongly recommend that you all read it. There are some graphs from that book that I want to show you. The first thing is he divides subjects that we learn in school and college into highly useful, okay, medium useful, and low useful. And take a look at this graph. English and mathematics, highly useful. But we spend only 17 to 14% of the 4 years or 14 years that we do at school doing those subjects. Medium useful. By usefulness, I mean relevance for a career. Right? So how often do you see history professors versus engineers? Right? There is a difference between number of people who choose history and arts study, arts critic as a job versus an engineer or a medical student or a science graduate. Science comes in the middle. Not often, not everybody is really called upon to tell us the importance of cytoplasm or the structure of mitochondria, stuff that we spent a lot of time equivalent to time that we spent on maths and English, which should not have been the case. And arts, foreign languages, and history. In the US, you are forced to learn French or Spanish. The only time that author writes, the only time I used that knowledge was when I was stuck in an airport and I was able to turn my collar up and say, oh, that guy is announcing it in Spanish, he will soon announce it in English. I know already what he is announcing. We can all hoard stuff. We can all keep collecting stuff. Saying, I'm sure you all have an uncle or a grandpa at home who collects all those little things, தேஞ்சு போன ஸ்க்ரூ, உடஞ்சு போன கண்ணாடி, saying, இன்னைக்காவது உபயோகம் இருக்கும்பா இதுக்கு. Of course, there will be use for everything that you store. But there has to be contextual relevance. How much time you spent, how much space you are physically occupying versus the relevance of it. He drills down a little more and he looks at time spent just in mathematics. He splits it up. And he says algebra and statistics are very, very important. Algebra is probably given enough importance, but statistics is not. Daniel Kahneman, a famous TED speaker and book author, he talks about statistical illiteracy and says that is one of the greatest afflictions of decision makers and world leaders today. They can't make sense of numbers. Innumeracy அப்படிங்கிறாங்க, illiteracy மாதிரி innumeracy அப்படிங்கிறாங்க. If you can't understand numbers and what they mean in the long term, it's a really troublesome thought. And why is it so? Simply because in the maths book, statistics is the last chapter. And by the time that hits you, the teacher has already come to the last week before the exam, and the teacher tells you, இதெல்லாம் விட்டுரு, இந்த exam இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு problem கேட்பேன், நல்லா பண்ணுங்க. That is the scam of today. Medium useful, higher algebra and calculus, but the worst case is geometry. The time we spend deriving theorems, proving the arc of a circle's length, or one triangle is congruent to another. I'm sure you all remember those times. I enjoyed geometry. I got 99 out of 100 in mathematics. But when I tell my son about it, I'm homeschooling him, so he doesn't understand the relevance there. When I tell him, he looks at me and says, what is the practical relevance of it? How many of us are going to really use it today? We have become hyper-specialized. Probably not everything is needed for every one of us. That's the case he is making, not me. George Mason University professor Kaplan is making. Go read it. Another book, Bill Bryson, a short history of nearly everything. I'm ashamed to say this, but perhaps I can turn it into pride because you might yourself not know. So I'm going to tell you 3 things I learned from this book. I should have learned it long, long ago, but simply because my school and probably my college did not teach that the right way, I can say probably this is a better book to teach me that. This guy is considered the father of chemistry. He discovered that there is something called oxygen in air. Oxygen no ஒன்று இருக்குன்னு இவர் தான் கண்டுபிடிச்சது. Anybody knows the name? Who discovered oxygen? Life of air அப்படின்னு சொன்னார் அவர். அவரோட பேரு Antoine Lavoisier அப்படின்னு தான் I remembered from school. Antoine Lavoisier. But only when I was reading this book, I was told it's actually Antoine Lavoisier. Antoine Lavoisier. And I stopped reading the book and I wondered, why couldn't the chemistry teacher or the science teacher have understood it from the lady sitting next to her? She's the French teacher. This man seems to be from France. How do you pronounce the name? Why couldn't have been French taught to me during chemistry class, was my question. I went further through the book. After describing all the great things this guy did, the author talks about this guy's death. You know how he dies? He dies like this, on the guillotine. French Revolutionல எத்தனையோ ராயல் பீப்புளை தலையை வெட்டினாங்களே, அதில் அன்ஃபார்ச்சுனேட்லி அன்டுவான் லவாய்சியேவும் ஒருத்தர். Why couldn't the chemistry teacher have learnt about it from the history teacher and delivered it to me as a package? That was my question. I learnt a lot about the French Revolution. I know dates. I know how it started. I know about a lady. I know about a chariot. I know about a prison that was broken through. All that I know in a compartment, strong metal ironclad compartment. And then there is the science compartment, where I know about oxygen, where I know about its chemical properties and who discovered it. But there is no context, no connection. I am taught everything in bits and pieces of unconnected data, the first slide. I felt bad. Bill Bryson must be teaching science, history, and French to us, I thought. That was the curse of context-free education. So there are three problems with it. The first problem is we focus largely on irrelevant stuff. Go. Look at your documents, look at your curriculum, look at your course material. Show it to a technologist, whatever department you are from. Show it to that technologist who is practicing cutting-edge version of that in today's market, competing with global giants. Show it to them and ask, how large is this gap? Is it even bridgeable? Am I teaching the right things? So we are teaching them a lot of irrelevant stuff. And we ignore some relevant stuff. Inniki, one of the most important things MBA students or even marketing people need is magic with spreadsheets. We don't teach that at all in school. How to pivot a table, how to run a macro, how to do predict and trend analysis. We never do that. Basic skill with statistics. So we ignore some relevant stuff. Hey, sound on the dirk. The third thing is we learn it. The third thing is we learn it without context, without relevance. Like I told the Antoine Lavoisier example, we learn it without context. This, I feel, is something every one of us, all academicians, should obsess about and do something to change this unfortunate reality. I told you about what won't change, remember? When Jeff Bezos was asked about what will change, he said what won't change from the customer's perspective. I'm going to tell you what won't change from the company recruiter's perspective. We will always look for three things. The first is, of course, intelligence. We will look for the ability for you. Intelligence is a very difficult word to define. We will see whether you are intelligent. We will look whether you will have hard work and you can put in dedicated effort. We will see that. And then we'll look for the third thing, conformity. Sonnada kepiya, disciplined arpiya, edirthu pesama irpiya, right? கம்பெனி நடத்துறதுக்கு எங்கள் கூட வா எம்ப்ளாயியாக இரு அப்படின்னு ரெக்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணி இன்வைட் பண்ணால் நான் ஒரு கம்பெனி நடத்துகிறேன் நாளைக்கு கிளம்பி போவியா ரைட் ஸோ தீஸ் ஆர் திங்ஸ் வி ஆல் லுக் ஃபார் பட் கோ பேக் intelligence. Do you think there's just one intelligence? Problem solving intelligence, mathematics or whatever? No, that's just one of probably 9 intelligences around there. Howard Gardner booke edirukar adu patti. There is musical intelligence, there is linguistic intelligence, there is kinesthetic intelligence, there is interpersonal intelligence, intrapersonal intelligence, emotional intelligence and solvanga there. Then there is mathematical intelligence. Yes, not all of us have all the intelligences, can't. So you need to look for it the right way. Every kid can be different. We are all not writing the same question paper in life. The lady told me yesterday. It hit me hard. The second thing is when you're expecting hard work and dedication, don't give problems like this. This is from a famous Greek mythology. In the ஆள் பேர் Sisyphus. Sisyphusங்கிறவனுக்கு curse என்னன்னா every morning he'll have to struggle rolling up a ball like this up a large mountain. But the curse is every night as he sleeps the ball will roll down to the ground. He'll have to lift it up again. வேலையே இதுதான். So Sisyphean அப்படின்னு இங்கிலீஷ்ல ஃப்ரேஸே வந்துடுச்சு. Sisyphean difficulty or Sisyphean assignment. So when a student asks, why am I doing this? What is the relevance of it in real life? Do not give mindless assignments like this. If you do that, He will go to the nearby Xerox shop. He will pay somebody to get it done. He or she will find out every way to break the system. Gaming the system, English la phrase. That's because the system is bad. Let's understand that. And finally, conformity. Do we really want all of us to be like this? Can you spot an Abdul Kalam or a A.R. Rahman in this? You need to be able to stand up. Why is A.B. de Villiers more famous than a Rahul Dravid? Rahul Dravid is copybook cricket. Cricket guide padikka venam. Rahul Dravid video pata porum. How to play cricket correctly, abdin we can learn. And adhe coach solvar, A.B. de Villiers cricket mattum paathidade abdin. Because that guy plays every shot outside the cricket book. Who scored more runs? Who is richer because of cricket? Who is more popular? There is the game. So there is space for the non-conformists. Acknowledge them. Cultivate them. Typically, you will find them in the last bench, not the first bench. They are the people who have the dreams. They are the rebels waiting for a cause. Not rebels without a cause. Not rebels with a cause. They are the rebels waiting for a cause. Make friends with them. Talk to them. Encourage them. I was done. That's why I'm here today. Talk to them. Help them. There is enough space for non-conformists in this world. So those are the three things we look for, and keep that in mind when educating your students. Three things that all of us can, beyond the rubric of education and academia, three things that we can do at our institutions is talk about compasses and not maps. Don't give them a structure. This is what you have to do. Instead, give them a compass. Here is where you are. That's where you have to go, right? Because there was this Varda Puyal, right? The storm that hit us. And a tree fell across a mountain path like this. And after a couple of weeks, no vehicle could pass through. After a couple of weeks, the whole road got a lot of old leaves and fallen leaves kind of erased the presence of a road at all. And over time, whenever a vehicle came by, the villagers said, sorry sir, you'll have to go down this mountain path, cross the river, take that bridge, cross 4 more kilometers from there, and then only go across. 6 kilometers of extra effort, simply because there is a tree fallen across the road. But if you keep telling them what to do and how to do it also, you will not find any progress, because times have changed. Times have changed exponentially. Exponential concept, if you look at this area below the curve, everything from minus infinity to now, in the next 1 unit, you can cover. That is the power of exponential. Right? So, if you keep telling the person to take the other road, you will not see real progress. Because if you tell the person, I need to get across, I don't know what you do, you will find answers like this one. It will even become a tourist spot. Right? So that is the point. So do not sell maps, because maps are constantly changing. The route here today, one of the reasons Google Maps, friend from Google is here, one of the reasons Google Maps is not all that great in some nooks and corners of Chennai is constantly changing. There is one-ways everywhere. There is road under construction all over the time. Right? So don't give them don't give them maps, give them compasses. Here is a device. Wherever you go, have this with you. It will tell you which direction to go towards next. That's a better thing to do. The second thing I want all of you to encourage your students to understand is competence is the only credential. In fact, I originally had this slide as paper is not the only credential. I am going a step further and I'm saying competence is the only credential. ரொம்ப அழகா அந்த காக்கஹ குக்கு குக்குன்னு சொன்னார் இல்லையா? So that beautifully captures the difference after you cross that gate. Life is not a gate, life is a journey. And every day at work, it's a challenge for you. So unless you really stop banking on paper, and really focusing on competence. Yesterday we heard from companies like TCS, companies from like Wipro, where they are hacking the concept of an interview. And they're saying, we will give them a test, we will give them a hackathon, we will come and conduct a competition. The winners will be given awards, given jobs in our company. Do not show me your marks. I don't value them anymore. Right? And finally, when it comes to projects, when it comes to final year projects or active assignments and workshop work that you do with your students, this is something I really feel bad about, because the power of the students is actually undervalued when they don't build on top of what others did. Today, with amazing tools like GitHub and so many other open source Bitbuckets repositories, you can actually create stuff, document it beautifully, and keep building on top of it. The first year student can actually build on top of the previous final year student. Linux, the greatest operating system that powers 95% of the internet, runs on the power of open source. So if you can encourage people to actually build on top of what others did, and don't stop there, you should also encourage them to allow others to build on top of what you did. If you can manage that, an acorn, that's the size of an acorn. I can have 6 of them in my pocket. And this is the size. Look at that bench there. That is the size of the acorn tree. If you compare what can happen if you sow the seed correctly. So if you can encourage them to do this, the cycle, it's a virtuous, self-propagating cycle. If you can encourage them, there will be a continuity. I went to a couple of colleges where they are doing it beautifully. They told me about how the alumni, wherever they are, whatever they are doing, they keep coming back and fixing bugs in the code that actually powers the college intranet or the college admission facility and so on. Beautiful stuff. So I just want to finish by saying 5 things that we do differently at Zoho University. For those who don't know, Zoho University is a competitor for you all. We take students right out of 12th standard, just like you do, or 10 plus 3 or 10 plus 2, we take students, and we give them an intensive training of 18 to 24 months in an embedded environment right within our company. And soon after that, they are taken in as employees in our organization. We have been running it since 2004. 700 plus students have graduated from it. 99% of them continue to be employees in our company. And like Madam commented, my own son went through Zoho University and he graduated last year. So I want to talk about 5 things we do differently. The reason we started it was we saw people coming in with paper credentials having no practical ability, no knowledge about actually working in a software environment in a high-tech company. So we thought, why can't we start our own small experiment? And that's how it was born. We went to a school nearby in Guindy, took some 6 students, and we found some faculty members within our company itself, practicing software engineers who wanted to also share what they had learned, and that's how Zoho University was born. Now we have 2 branches and 3 schools. One in Tenkasi, one in Chennai, and we are doing quite well. In fact, if you do very, very well, we will have to close Zoho University. The first thing is there's no attendance. We don't take attendance at Zoho University. Oh, come on, we are not affiliated to any university. We don't need to pay obeisance or homage to anybody. We are not answerable to anybody. Our certificate doesn't exist because we know the value of paper. We keep spitting on other papers. How can we give a good one? So we don't do that. But we set our rules and say, if the teacher is good enough, the students will come. So make the class interesting enough. If the teacher comes and sees an empty class, it's feedback, direct and blunt to the teacher that the class isn't interesting, that this person is probably not sharing wisdom, not sharing experience, just throwing data. Coursera and MIT OpenCourseWare can do a much better job than you. We don't have exams. There are no monthly, semester, annual tests, because we know, because we have been students ourselves, that if there are exams, there will be previous night's logging, next night forgetting. There will be copying. There will be competing. We want to avoid all that. Our focus is on collaboration. Can kids get together and create some magic? That's what our focus is on. So there are no exams. Our evaluation is continuous. Our teacher-to-student ratio is 1:6 or 1:5. Many mentors exist from the working community, and they help us. So it's continuous, and there are no exams. This is my favorite. Most of the kids who take up computer science in colleges take it up because they got maximum marks in biology. Seriously, think about it. Maths, physics, chemistry, biology. இந்த 3 சப்ஜெக்ட்லையும் 100க்கு 100 எடுத்தா நல்ல கம்ப்யூட்டர் சயின்ஸ் கோர்ஸ் நல்ல காலேஜில் கிடைக்கும். But is that what identifies a passion for working with a computer? I don't think so. So what we do here is, when the time comes halfway through the course, to actually identify whether you're going to become a designer, a graphic artist, whether you're going to get into machine learning, whether you're going to get into front-end JavaScript development or back-end Python and Java, what we do is we give the student enough time to demonstrate interest. And the interest demonstrate pannu, do a project. We have only curricular time of 50% of the time. The rest of the time is left to the student to do what he or she wants. Could be whiling it away, could be spending it on something meaningful, could be creating something, could be collaborating with others. So we see that demonstrated interest, and only that decides which stream that person gets into. I think we will have a very good time identifying the right talent if we choose the streams based on an approach like this, rather than just blindly following marks. Our faculty is not from engineering institutions. Our faculty is not from colleges. We don't get PhDs. There are no PhDs in our faculty group, actually. Our faculty are hard-working employees who are software engineers, who are designers, who are graphic artists, who are marketing geniuses, who also set apart some time. They're not being paid extra for it either. It is simply because of that uncontrollable urge to spill what they have been collecting over the years. எனக்கு சொல்ல தந்தது யாருக்காவது சொல்ல தரணும்னு ஆசையா இருக்கே. We tap that and we give them the platform. Classes happen under a tree, in a small conference room. In fact, one mentor who teaches business communication, the class he runs is the 4 students who are learning my business communication from him. They come, sit around him, silently watch him handle an international call. A customer calling in, this person handles it live. What better way to teach business communication? On the spot interaction with an angry customer. That's how we have chosen our faculty members at Zoho University. In fact, we are looking for more. If you know anybody, we are happy to take you in. Finally, our curriculum creation. One of the reasons we are not affiliated to any university. I have 3 mails in my inbox unresponded, from SRM University, from a university abroad, from Shastra University, who have told me, I would like to work with you and offer my degree program for the students you are passing out of Zoho University. They don't know that we don't have exams and attendance. I don't know if they will still want to mail me about it. But I have those mails unresponded. The reason I don't want to affiliate ourselves with any university at all is, we know that when you say that you are affiliated to some university, you will have to inherit that university's documentation structure, curriculum, the recommended books. I am of the opinion that when something is printed in a book, it's already obsolete. That's how fast technology is changing. 6 months ago, Google introduced Kotlin. A year ago, we introduced Kotlin into our curriculum today. How many of the engineering institutions around the country can claim that? We are teaching Swift programming for iOS development. We are cooking up our own technology beyond Java because Oracle is threatening to make Java a really big pain in the backside. Post-Java era is coming soon. How many of us are getting ready for it? We still teach C++. Final year, we touch Java, is what some computer science teachers tell me about college. We are thinking already about beyond Java. So every 6 months, we revisit our curriculum, we make it flexible, and we keep ensuring it is fresh. And over and above all this, we realize that 4 years or 2 years, if you spend in an academic environment and come out, you are going to find that times have changed and what you learned is probably not relevant anymore. So we are focusing on meta-learning. The most important thing that we want our students to be taught is how to learn by themselves. We are teaching our students to answer questions. Do you know this? Not with yes or no. We want to tell them, do you know this? No, கேள்வி வந்ததுன்னா yes னு சொல்லுங்க, இல்லனா not yet னு சொல்லுங்க. We are teaching them the power of not yet. The phone gives you, in 5 minutes, I can be wiser than I was 5 minutes ago. Right? So we are teaching them the power of self-learning, lifelong learning. Like he's told that second shloka from me, Padam kala kramenacha. The fourth is lifelong, through the day, through the years. Right? So that is our focus. செவியுணவிற் கேள்வியுடையார் அவியுணவின் ஆன்றாரோடொப்பர் நிலத்து is a quote 403 திருக்குறள் இது. Today I encountered it. It seems those who, beautiful word, sevi unavu, right? So if you ask questions, inquisitive questions, and get fed by your ear, அந்த அளவுக்கு அந்த ஆசை, அந்த பசி, if you have, you are equivalent to the gods who take harvest from fire. Right? So lifelong learning, if you can only ask the right questions, there are enough free resources out there, awake 24 hours to help you with the right answers. So I'm not sure if I have helped you in your stated goal of looking for survival strategies, but like our friend pointed out again, survival is not enough. Seth Godin, a famous author, Survival is Not Enough, no book idirgar. I'll strongly recommend you read it, because if you just plan to survive, you're going to be flattened on the road. You'll be roadkill. You'll have to plan to thrive, not survive. Good luck, all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think dumbfounded, we're all dumbfounded. When we were discussing on who we should invite, I remember Prakash put his foot down. He had listened to your talk and he said, we just have to invite you. It's all very strangers. I've never met you before, but I think you know my family really well. You took me back to my school days. I did know Lavoisier, completely forgot. And my daughter, when she came back in first standard or something, I remember, what did you learn in school today? She told me, Amma, English period la English, geography period la English da katano, science la English, maths la English da. So I think this is what you are trying to touch upon. And what takeaway for me is that just one letter is what we need to change. Don't fester creativity, foster it. I don't know, if I start talking, I may end up repeating your entire speech, and that may not be I will never be able to do it the way you did it. Hats off to you. And I'm so happy today to see Professor CRM has touched your life in such an important way. I'm quite sure you'll all be using the WhatsApp number to pass on your queries to us. We can't wait for your questions, or write it on the back of the card. And my son too, my son is a doctor, but he keeps going to quiz clubs because he says, otherwise I will lose touch with whatever I have learned. Really, and the teachers in our Digiterati, they've not learned IT at all. We have economists, we have geography specialists, we have history teachers, and they've all come on board for the only reason which you mentioned, the passion to learn and the passion to teach. Thank you very much for that. And on that note, let us take a tea break. But please do come back. We have great stalwarts who are going to enthrall and just spill out their magic to us. Please come back after the tea break. Thank you.
So survival strategiesங்கிற டாபிக் பற்றி தான் பேசிட்டு இருக்கோம். An interesting thing I observed today, I go to a lot of events and I exchange cards. Today, so many of you took my cards but didn't have one to give me. அதில் எவ்வளோ உங்கள் செலவாயிட போகிறது? உங்கள் காண்டாக்ட் டீட்டெயில்ஸை அழகாக போட்டு உங்கள் பிராண்டை பில்டு பண்ணி ஒரு லோகோவை போட்டு நீங்கள் என்ன பண்ணுறீங்க, நீங்கள் என்ன படிச்சிருக்கீங்கன்னு ஒரு கார்டை வச்சுட்டு கொடுத்துருக்கலாம். அது உங்கள் தப்பு இல்லையா இருக்கும், உங்கள் இன்ஸ்டிடியூஷனோட தப்பாக இருக்கலாமா இருக்கும். பட் have a card wherever you are. That is one of the survival strategies. I'm sure you agree. Yeah, card வாவாங்கிறதான்.